Okay, we have a green box, we have a live counter ticking up, so we should now be live, which of course means welcome back to the Storytime Network. I know we promised the roast of Naruto, but honestly, we were all feeling pretty exhausted.
Hmm.
Didn't want to half-ass it, so we're just gonna do a chill chat and stream.
Yeah, it's like you have to understand that after a certain point, hatred requires
Energy, yeah.
energy that raw fury is not enough to provide, oftentimes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why we have decided to wait until we can give Nart, father of Bort, the full depth of hatred that it deserves.
Yes.
That said, we are still able to just chat about nonsense.
That we are.
That, thankfully, does not take too much energy.
Mm-hmm.
We're forever able to talk about nonsense.
Oh, of course.
I, in fact, am talking about nonsense while I have a milkshake, which does not, in fact, bring the boys to the yard. That song lied to me, and I want a discount. And by discount, I mean, like, a refund.
My first exposure to that song was the movie Dodgeball.
Oh, I remember that movie.
Dodge, dip, dive, duck, and dodge.
Yeah.
The movie's aged surprisingly well, honestly.
Honestly, yeah, kinda. Probably one of.
I mean, relative to some of the absolute trash out there, yes.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of shocking how well it's aged, comparatively speaking. Yeah, like, some of the jokes didn't age well, of course, like the Lance Armstrong joke did not age well.
To be fair, was there much they could have done for that?
No, it's not their fault. It is funny though.
Like, I'm not sure they could have predicted that. So.
No, they could not have it, but it was funny.
Yeah.
It was very funny in hindsight.
Movie that had like the more self-aware Lance Armstrong joke, or am I thinking of something else?
No.
Which of the movies was post I remember there was a movie in that genre that was like post steroid scandal. Lance Armstrong.
This was pre-scandal.
Yeah, that's
It's nothing they could have really helped.
Yeah, it really isn't.
Which is unfortunate because it is kind of really funny to think about.
Though honestly, I do wonder if Lance Armstrong isn't particularly unusual. He just like got caught. That's probably the case, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot more common in other fields of athletics than it is for biking.
Well, I just like assume that everyone is using some degree of steroids, right? Like, after a certain point, there's just not, like, you can't get the level of performance you need naturally.
Well, I imagine part of it is absolutely due to just, like, a lot of sports require, intensive steroid use, yes, but I don't feel like it really applies as much to, say, biking as it does to, say, football or baseball.
No, because, like,
American
well, like, the Tour de France is, like, a stamina thing, right? More than anything.
And steroids aren't really going to help much with that.
Yeah, which is why that's a bit odd to me.
Yeah.
It's like, I get why people were upset, obviously. Like, is with good reason, because, like, even if it's a thing, you don't, like, I mean, the reason is more that he got caught, right? Like, you should at least have the tact to not be so obvious about it. Like, no one's gonna deny that everyone does it. It's just the...
I don't know if everyone does it, just so much as it's a fairly common thing in athletics.
Well, I mean, I feel like you're gonna have an easier time finding people who don't do it than people who do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or rather, the other way around. You
I don't
have a
know.
harder time finding people who don't do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, why have we put so much effort into
Into what?
steroids and not nearly as much effort into, like, health products along those lines, right? Because, like, we have the technology to basically make people super buff, right? But, like, why don't we have the technology to, like, just make people healthy? Like,
Well, it's
rather
a
than
lot
going
harder.
from healthy to super buff, I feel like we should be looking into going from, like, not healthy to healthy.
All those easier said than done type things.
Yeah, I think a lot of it does come down to just, like, the amount of money being put into it after a certain point, right? I just feel like it like the health research doesn't have as much money being put into it as, like, how to make people jacked. Maybe I could be completely wrong. It's just my gut feeling. Maybe I'm just salty.
Could be. Always a possibility.
But I like. Do y'all ever have you guys watched Gattaca?
Gattaca?
I did watch that movie, yes.
It's the designer baby dystopia movie. Mel.
That still doesn't particularly ring a bell.
It's the one with, I believe it's Ethan Hawke, isn't it?
Basically, Ethan Hawke is a non-designer baby who wants to be an astronaut in a world full of designer babies.
And I believe Ethan Hawke has a heart defect.
Also,
Oh, Jude Law and Uma Thurman are also in it.
This is still
who plays
not ringing a bell.
wasn't Michael Fassbender also in it?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, then I was just confusing Jude Law and Michael Fassbender. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jude Law commits suicide by literally yeeting himself into an incinerator,
Yep.
which is just like that was one of the like most. There was some real. So okay, you know where I watched that movie?
Where?
Grade 9 English class.
Oh, fun. I watched that in grade 10 science.
Huh. It's funny how that movie is applicable to a number of different subjects.
I do think it's a little bit more applicable to like literature and or science based stuff, but yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of just like there was something deeply disturbing to me as a little babby in grade 9 English class. Just like watching a guy calmly wheel himself into an incinerator that then activates. It's just like, especially, I think what got me is the fact that it was set on a timer, so there was no room for second thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, once he locked himself in there, he was not getting out anymore. Like, he was
Yeah.
no longer in control. I think it's that lack of control that really fricked me up in, like, the long term.
I mean, it is fucked up, but at the same time, like, yeah.
It,
Yeah, it's just fucked up.
it's just like depictions of suicide are always going to be like triggering to in some way. It's just that that one in particular messed me up a lot. I don't know why.
I mean, I don't blame you.
Oh god, okay, like let's get into this then. What was a depiction of like some sort of self-harm that really just messed you up as a child?
Oh god, I can't even think of it off the top of my head.
Mel, any ideas?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, I do my best to avoid self-harm, in my
Yes,
fiction.
as do I.
Because as I've said quite a few times, I do my I watch my media, read my media, whatever you want to say, to enjoy myself.
Yes, I'm also in that camp. Some people aren't, which is just always something. It's just one of those things where evil cannot understand good. I'm not calling us evil, but I'm just like, that's what it feels like sometimes, where I'm just like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Some people are apparently just like into watching things that make them feel bad for various reasons.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah, just does not make sense to me.
It don't make no sense.
I sometimes, if not for the fact that it would give me extreme like body dysmorphia, I would not mind living the life of a himbo. I think that's what it feels like sometimes. I think the problem with himbos is that they tend to be very buff, and that's not really what I'm about. Or male himbos, anyway.
I mean, the criteria is only hot of bod. It doesn't say, there's no one accepted hot bod portrayal. Well, there shouldn't be, though, I'm sure some people would disagree.
Yeah. Well, it does lean beefy. It doesn't mean it's always beefy.
I mean, I know one of the one of the characters I nominated for our upcoming himbo tier list isn't that beefy, really.
Which one?
Ikuma.
Hmm. I don't know if I've added him yet or not.
He is an incredible himbo. I love him dearly.
What's he from again?
World Trigger.
Right.
In a series that is so, like, strategy and smart focused, he is the shining light of himbo-ness, and it's great.
That's neat.
I have come to a conclusion, I think.
Oh?
I'm pretty sure World Trigger is just, like, too smart for me. I like, do not have the necessary IQ for World Trigger.
I mean,
You're galaxy brained?
Didn't you tell me
little
you
bit, yeah.
stopped reading it because it was just taking too long?
Well, yes, but, like, I wonder if I would have enjoyed it more if I was more into the Galaxy Brain 5D chess stuff.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Like, I enjoy intelligent
Yeah.
main characters in strategy-based series, but I think I lean more towards the variant of that, which is like more the con men archetype, right? Like the magnificent I prefer scheming to strategy, I think.
Hmm.
What I'm trying to get at. Because they're similar, they're like in the same general vicinity as each other, but I do think there's some notable differences.
Hmm.
And I prefer the schemers to the strategists.
Just don't vibe with the strategists, huh?
Don't even get me started. I remember we talked about Code Geass a little bit on the male waifu tier list. I don't even get me started on that series.
Jiboo!
Look, that was
song
one
will
of my
never leave your
favorite
head.
that series was one of my favorites for the longest time before I, was aware of quality. But also, I have come to the conclusion that, like, probably there is a fan fiction out there that is my perfect version of Code Geass, where people don't, like, fight over the idiot ball like it's prime real estate.
There are like 3 or 4 well-known Code Geass fanfics that are allegedly the smart fic, but
Yeah, I'm just
I
too lazy to
don't know
look
them
for
off the top of my head.
I'm too lazy to look for them, and even then I'm like, I don't feel like reading them anymore. I'm past that point in my life now.
No, that's fair. I get that.
I mean, what's the appeal of Code Geass? I mean, I've obviously heard of it, and I know a little bit about it, but, like, I don't actually know what the premise is.
It's very much the Galaxy Brain series.
It's Babby's first Magnificent Bastard.
Right.
In a nutshell.
It's like, it isn't dumb, or like not as dumb as its detractors would have you believe. It's got plenty of dumb moments, yes, but it's not entirely fueled by dumbasses. That said, it does require a lot of it does
disbelief. Yeah.
Also, there are parts where it's like very contrived, where it's obvious that the writers wrote themselves into a corner and then just You know what? Funnily enough, I was talking about this with regard to modern shonen earlier, but it does suffer from Diabolus Ex Machina a lot.
Right.
It isn't as bad as some other ones, though.
Euthanator.
That is definitely the most egregious one, yes. By far the most egregious instance in the series.
Do you know what the funniest part of that entire incident is?
What?
The authors really didn't write themselves into a corner if they'd been a bit smarter about it, because like that suggested plan would have never worked. It would have fallen to pieces in like a few months,
Yeah.
like in a year at best. So like they really didn't need to do that.
No,
Right,
they didn't,
like-
but they weren't using their 5 brain. They were only using their smooth brain.
Yeah, and it's just like there were a lot of places because like that's probably the main character that I feel the worst about because I pity him a great deal.
Oh, which one? Suzaku?
Oh, I hate him. He's like a piece of shit. I don't
Suzaku
swear
does
off him,
suck,
but
yeah.
he is absolutely one of the worst characters in fiction. And the worst part about him is that he is like he is like the God. There's a so you know those Bakugo fans who think he's like their precious
shit.
baby boy who think he's the second coming of Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, Suzaku is that if those fans were the authors.
Ugh.
It's like he can apparently do no wrong, even though a lot of the worst war crimes in the series are a direct result of him. A lot
Yeah.
of the like worst developments in the series that people are most upset about are because of him, and he gets away scot-free and has a happy ending at the end. He's like one of the only characters in the series who has like an unambiguously happy ending.
Hmm.
Complete definition of a karma Houdini. Yeah, I hate him. No, I'm talking about like Pretty Boy himself.
Lelouch?
Yes. He's like the kind of the epitome of does good things for bad reasons, and that should be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem that arises is that far too many times the authors are like, what if we just made him do something stupid just to make him seem more evil?
Yep. That does happen.
I have strong feelings on Code Geass, in case you hadn't realized. I'm perhaps more invested in that series than I had initially realized.
Maybe you should look up Fix Fix.
I don't know, because there's some very specific parameters I require, and if I can't find them, then I might be tempted to write one myself, and it's just not worth it. I barely write enough of my own original content.
Fair enough. Also, there's always the chance of fanfictions devolving into absolute trash. Depending on how good the author is.
After a certain point, I feel like the quality of the author doesn't really matter as much. It's just like the format of fanfiction in general does not lend itself as well to sustainability.
I know Mill can speak to that from experience.
Well, the issue is that the main series that I
Yes.
that I read fanfiction for is My Hero, which isn't finished. So they either have to stop themselves at a certain point, you know, where either they're caught up on, or where they feel comfortable stopping, or they have to come up with an ending of their own.
Yep. Or they can go completely off the rails.
Oh, Mill! You will be happy to learn that I did start reading the 2 fanfictions that we agreed upon.
Oh.
Mill? You
Yeah?
there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, so I really wish you'd given me more comprehensive trigger warnings for one of them.
Yeah.
I had to, like,
Yeah. My bad.
drop at chapter 1. Like,
Right.
I'm sorry, but it just, like...
Yeah. No, it's rough.
Maybe if I
The-
skipped the first chapter, but it was, like, too much.
No, it is
What the
rough.
fuck?
It is rough.
It's like a fanfiction, but the premise is that instead of being an absent father, Deku's dad is actively abusive.
Oh. Oh,
Like-
no.
Like, abusive in the not in the, like, sort of fictional way that Endeavor is abusive. Though there's, like, in this whole you must become superpowers
Mm.
or else. He's more abusive in the way real parents are horrifically abusive on occasion.
Mm.
Oof. That's rough.
Yeah. No, that's my bad. Sorry.
But too realistic. Gotcha.
Yeah.
A bit, way too real.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely rough. Like, when I do reread that one, I do basically skip a lot of that first chapter, if not all of it, frankly.
Yeah, it's like, it's a bit too much. So I think, unless I'm in a better headspace, I'm probably gonna decline that for the time being.
Yeah. No, it's definitely.
The other one, however, is it's much better,
Mm.
but it's just like, I think it's because it's so different from the base series, I'm actually gonna have to, like, do some mental gymnastics for that series where I have to, like, force myself to, like, change the names in my head, because it is, like, the beginning, at least, is completely different from the baseline series.
Which one is that again? Struggling to
The
remember
the spirits one.
Oh yeah, that one. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I can understand
Because
that.
it's so significantly different.
Yeah.
Until I get, like, it needs to have, like, a couple of prologue chapters with completely unrelated characters to ease you into the world. Because it just, like, throws you into the deep end, and the, like, combination of the familiar characters and the completely alien mechanics just is a little bit much.
Okay, that's fair. I can understand that.
That one I do plan on continuing, though, because, like, the premise is interesting and the tags are delicious in that they're wholesome found family relationship tags. The other one is gonna be, it's like there's too much angst. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
no,
like, even if
that's
it gets better, I can't.
That's fair. Then I will try and find a happier one for you. Like, I do like that one, but I, definitely got to be in a certain headspace for it.
It's also like, I feel like that's probably, as you get more out of it as a Totodeki shipper than I do.
Oh no, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Also, if you're looking for Hero Aka fanfics, do not go out of your way to look for the villain Deku ones, because apparently those are all pretty trash.
I
mean,
refuse to believe there isn't at least one good one.
I mean, Mill would be the expert on that, not me, but I have not heard any good things about any one in particular.
Here's the thing, like, in the same way, Fuzzy, that you struggled with the Spirit one because it felt so different, that you're gonna have to like imagine it as different characters to a certain extent. I just cannot imagine a world where Izuku is a villain. I feel like any time that he actually wholeheartedly becomes a villain, that stops being him.
It always has. Yes, you're right. It always, by necessity, has to be.
Drastically different.
Not. What am I trying to say? It by necessity has to be something where it's gray rather than fully evil.
At that point, then I just like read Vigilante Izuku fics, because I could 100% see Izuku going the Vigilante route if he needed to.
I mean, he kind of did, right? In canon.
Mm.
He did, briefly.
But
Wasn't a long.
I mean, I have actually read some pretty good Vigilante Izuku ones. Gotta be honest. I mean, my taste in what I like to read varies month to month. It really does. But yeah, I cannot read villain Izuku fics. It just does
that's
not compute.
honestly totally makes sense.
It just
Really
doesn't
fair,
compute.
honestly.
Yeah, it just doesn't compute as a concept to me. But you know, I'm sure that there are at least some well-written ones out there, but like
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, they're definitely well-written ones. It's just
same as I'm sure there are some well-written fucking Bakudeku ones, even if I'm never ever
Ugh.
going to read them. Yeah. Never ever going to read them. Like Cause yeah, in no universe am I gonna be able to see those two together.
understandable, honestly.
You know what's probably like one of the few things that like restores a teeny bit of faith I have in humanity? Just the tiniest bit.
What?
Because I decided to browse Archive of Our Own after Mill turned me on to the fictions, I basically just like went on a browsing journey of like completely unfiltered MHA fanfics. I saw some things.
Oh boy.
I saw some things that I wish I had not seen.
Happens.
But, and this is possibly to the credit of the human species, in my entire time searching, I only saw one the chipped Decuanary.
Jesus. One is too many.
Yes! But at the same time, one is also a lot less than I had assumed.
How many did you look through?
Like, I didn't go too deep, I just briefly looked at the tags, but over the course of several days, like, definitely in the quadruple digits.
Goddamn.
You know, I
So,
could have given you my search criteria.
Yeah, you might want give me your search criteria at some point. But yeah, I'm just kind of like,
because I've absolutely like evolved that over the course of my.
you know, it's like I've realized Archive of Our Own has really, really awkward it has a really awkward search engine because it doesn't have any way to exclude tags that I've seen.
Yes, it does.
It does.
It does?
Yeah. When you
Oh,
look at
maybe
the
it's because I
filter,
never made an account. But like just the basic ass
no.
browser that you.
When you look at the filter sidebar, the top bit is for ones you want to include.
Ah, you
and the
see,
bottom bit
there's
is...
your problem.
and the-
I am on mobile.
Okay, you need to click the button filters. It is at the top of the page. The top bit lets you pick what you want to include, and the bottom bit lets you pick what you want to exclude.
Yeah, that's just not there in mobile.
It is there on mobile. You just have to click the filters button.
Just press the start button.
The start button. Do not press the start
button.
Okay, you know what? I'm not sure if you guys are gaslighting me right now or not, so I'm gonna look this up.
I'm legitimately not. Like, am I really gonna do this?
No. I'm looking at it. I've opened it on my phone. All right. Archive of Our Own, beta, login, fandoms, browse, search, about, a search bar, and then the search button. That is what I am seeing on mobile. Would you like me to take a screenshot?
Yes. I'm gonna put the will be back screen so that I can look at this.
If only I remember how to take a screenshot.
Probably the standby button and the volume button. I mean,
yes, I know. It's probably both volume buttons, but it's not working. Yeah, I don't want Google Assistant. God damn it. No, I don't. That's not what I want either. You guys keep doing your thing. I'm gonna figure out how to take screenshots on my phone.
I'm getting like it up so I can show you, but I am obviously in my stepdad's workshop, which does not get good internet signal. Certainly not mobile. So
it happens.
Aha!
Figured it out, Fuzzy?
I mean, what I'm gonna do is check the Discord stream, Fuzzy. I can at least show you on computer. Probably not going to be able to show you until I go inside.
That's a lot of tabs.
Holy shit, man.
That's not even like the peak of how bad my fucking AO3 window got. Like this is me having like not checked.
This is restraint.
This is restraint.
Good
Yeah,
God.
I think we have a problem.
Yeah, Fuzzy. Right hand side of the screen. Filters. Can include stuff. I've excluded for this my general one. I've excluded explicit fics. I've excluded all these relationships because yeah, no, fuck that. I also really dislike reader fics.
Yeah, I know. I never understood the appeal of those in particular.
I've also
Self-insert's always been weird to me.
excluded all these other tags. Villain, Midoriya Izuku, Reader, Self-Harm, Suicide Attempt, Midoriya Izuku, and Toga. That one is to get rid of a fic in particular that I was seeing and really disliked, because it was genuinely, and you're going to hate this, Fuzzy, but I have to bring it up now. It's one that was like, oh, the rest of Class A find out about Bakugo bullying Izuku. And they're in the wrong for treating Bakugo badly after that. And it's just like, wow,
How
that's
the
what you take? That's what you take from that from that shit? Okay. Also the boy Alpha Beta Omega Dynamics, and then
Good old
shipping-
ABO.
Yeah, then shipping
I
Aizawa and
still don't
Izuku.
know where that came from, and it still scares me.
Yeah.
From Super Hulock. Super Hulock.
And then yeah, I've also got I exclude crossovers. For this one, I'm only looking for works in progress. Word count is at least 1,000 words. I cannot read a fic that has chapter word counts lower than 1,000 because it just goes too quickly. And then obviously language English, because I only speak English. So.
Yep.
But yeah, I haven't. Here's the thing: when I actually have access to my computer more often, I will check AO3 every day. I will check every update and new fic. Like, I will, for example, like, say this was next morning, I would basically go, okay, the top fic is by a user called that. I will remember that name, and then I will reset, and I will Control F that name and try and find where it is.
Hmm.
And I will go through. And yeah, as I said.
Alright, now that I figured out how to...
Come on, go down. Go.
Yeah, if you're wondering where ABO came from, I'm pretty sure it was Super Hulock. I remember it being mentioned in Lindsay Ellis's video on the subject.
But yeah, this was my AO3 window in August. This amount of tabs. Oh wait, no, I'm not screen sharing right now, so you can't see that.
Just screenshot and post it in the chat.
87 tabs.
Fuck me.
That is also not the only AO3 window I have. I also have one for completed
computer.
fics, which was 62 tabs at that time.
So, just to clarify, you are logged in, right?
Yes, I have an account. You don't even need an account to see this stuff, Fuzzy. I promise you that. I absolutely promise you that you don't need... You do not even need an account to look at this stuff. This is very funny. Like, it is astounding that you haven't found this.
I'm kind of surprised myself, Fuzzy. You seem like someone who'd be able to tap into the horrors and wonders of AO3 at your fingertip.
Ooh, ooh. AO3 is loading on my phone. Okay.
Error 403.
Yeah, it 503 actually. It does not help that AO3 has been having some problems the last few days.
I remember hearing about that.
Give me a minute.
Okay, how am I gonna do
I
this? How am I gonna send this now? Is the question. Because I've got the screenshot on my phone.
Just put this in the chat.
I'm trying. My phone doesn't have good internet, Jack. That's the issue.
Ah, unfortunate.
Yeah. Like you
Oh,
can
well.
say put it in the chat all you want, but like my phone, my mobile internet at the moment is E.
Okay,
To something I can understand.
so
Like it's the lowest level of actually connected to mobile internet, and it's barely connected at that. It is literally like, you know, why are you using this?
I think I've realized the problem.
Which is
Oh,
Let me just confirm that it's correct by
I should
checking on mobile.
point out in my bookmarks, 34 out of my 66 bookmarks are Totodeku.
Look,
I
we're
am
not.
shocked.
Look, we know
Shocked.
what you're about, Mel. This is. Well, not that shocked.
And only 51 of them are even My Hero Fix. So yeah, 34 out of 51 really.
So exactly 2/3.
Yeah.
Like exactly 2/3.
Like which My Hero Fix aren't Totodeku then? There are definitely some.
Different question. What's the spread of fix that aren't My Hero?
Oh, 6 Skate the Infinities, 3 Outhouse, 3 Encanto, 2 Jujutsu Kaisen, and 1 Haikyuu.
Makes sense. I'm surprised you don't have that one Game of Thrones fanfic bookmarked.
That's not on AO3.
It's not.
No, that's on fanfiction.net. And I do have an account there, but considering that when I was on there, I was mostly reading Harry Potter stuff. It's mostly Harry Potter stuff.
Unfortunate.
For better or for worse, yes. Fanfiction.net also doesn't really have a bookmark function. It has a favorite and a follow, and I,
Which don't really work quite the same, I imagine.
Okay. I have understood the problem, and it is perhaps a more interesting problem than you'd give it credit for.
Oh?
Oh? Please elaborate.
So, the issue is that it only presents you filters when you're in the work of a specific fandom. And now, I know that might seem an odd comment to make, but here's
there it goes.
what I've taken to doing recently. What I've taken to doing is setting up a series of, parameters. Because, I like to read, the fluffy found family stuff.
Yeah.
The thing is, it doesn't matter as much to me what it's a fanfic of. I'm not looking for a fandom in particular. And when you're not filtering it to a specific fandom, it doesn't have a way to exclude tags. It only has include.
Interesting.
There is no there is no site-wide filter. It is on a fandom by fandom basis.
It is not fandom by fandom. It is, it also includes tags.
So it's on a tag by tag basis.
Well, you know what I mean. Is it's only available when you're browsing the fix of a specific fandom.
No, it's also if you're browsing a particular tag. Trust me, Fuzzy. I use this site pretty much daily.
Okay, wait a second.
So, Fuzzy, if you look on,
Yeah, I'm gonna look up a tag specifically.
no, I mean if you look at the screen share in Discord right now, is this what you've been using?
Uh, yes, the work search is what I have been using.
Right. Okay. That is where you failed, Padawan.
Yes, I had a feeling. Now, where would you? Let's turn this into an AO3 instructional stream. Okay? Where have I gone wrong? Teach me what to do. Teach me, Sensei.
Well, I've not actually used this just general search before. So, as I said, what I do is I either, look for a certain fandom, or I look for a certain tag.
And then you search, and then you filter around that.
Yes. I mean, if it'll.
So if you're, say, looking for a specific specific tag, but not a fandom tag, like if you're looking for, say, like Found Family, and you want to filter out like any content warnings that might fuck you up, you just look in the Found Family tag, and you would.
So, families of choice. Click on Works.
Family of choice.
You get to this screen. From here, you can. Oh, hey, My Hero. Sort and filter that. Now we're getting My Hero Found Family fix. We can go, okay, I don't want explicit ones.
Definitely don't want Bakudeku.
I don't like crossovers.
Neither do I.
Let's go with complete works only. Let's go with from 1,000 words, because again, any shorter than that is
just
no
as
point.
an aside, I've gone onto the AO3, just like the browse tags page, and it's got the word cloud, and the 4 biggest ones in the word cloud are alternative AU, angst, fluff, and sexual content, because it's the internet.
Yeah. But yeah.
There's like,
so,
a lot of these are just like degenerate. Yes.
But yes, doing those additions have also made sure that Izuku is going to be a character in them, because, I need my Izuku fix. Which means I now have 1,469 works to choose from. I can also sort by bookmarks to get, the most bookmarked one at the top, which is Journey to the Past, which I myself have bookmarked.
I am shocked. Shocked, I say.
Because it's fucking great.
Well, not that shocked.
Because it covers, like, the concept of it is that Izuku, as, the future #1 hero, is being targeted when he's a weak kid in the past, so the rest of 1A goes into the past to save him.
Do they also see the absolute vile
They do not. They do not.
That automatically drops it from like
because, Fuzzy,
9
they're
to
not
a
sticking.
7.
They're not sticking around for anything. They're literally like there for to foil a villain attack, be mysterious to Izuku, and then disappear.
Did they like? What if one of the villain attacks is preventing him from not jumping when Bakugo tells him to? Look, you know what I'm about.
I know, but
Fuzzy, come on.
Look, I have problems, okay? I've never denied this.
Fuzzy, while I'm here on AO3, I will find a fic to replace the one that you understandably dropped. What was his name again? Or is it?
Okay, I've seen one. There's one tag or like tag suffix I've seen a lot. Freeform. I'm scared to ask what that is or what it means.
Basically, it's means it's not a specific tag as to like a character or a relationship. I'm fairly sure that's what that is.
Oh, I thought you said freeform for a second. I was like, is this like Super Saiyan? Like Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3? Is that what it is?
That is not what I thought when I heard the term freeform.
Am I?
You thought free
Because I don't want to leave it on the "We'll Be Right Back" screen for too long. Am I really gonna show off my AO3?
No, don't.
Don't
You
worry
don't have
about
to out yourself, Mill.
Fuck
You can
it,
go
I
back
don't
to House
care.
Whipper.
I don't give a shit.
You know what I found with annoying amounts of frequency is the sheer number of just like harem-based fics for literally anything with the shonen protagonist in it.
Yeah,
I
Like,
mean,
that happens.
it's fan fiction, right? Like,
it is fan fiction, and I'm not surprised. It's just like most of them are garbage. Which, you know, that's kind of what it's supposed to be anyways.
So yeah,
But like,
this is the one Fuzzy had an issue with. Burn Your Wings. It's very good, but yes, it does have very harsh child abuse in it at the start.
oh, it's a hurt comfort fic. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, while I am on my bookmarks page to find one to replace that, do you mind if it is Totodeku, or should I pick from the ones that aren't Totodeku, Fuzzy?
I'm not invested either way. Like, I wouldn't object to an OT3.
There aren't there
I've-
unfortunately aren't that many Totodeku Raka ones. The ones that I have
Yeah,
found
no,
that
that makes perfect sense. Look,
the ones that I've found I have bookmarked that are good, but there are only so many. And this is
Unfortunately, some ships are a bit too niche,
this is the
including good ones.
This is the one that Fuzzy is willing to read. Complicated Creation. Really love this one.
it seems fun. I just need to like do a certain layer of mental gymnastics first.
No, I absolutely understand that. It's very different. It is very different.
Oh, Mill, did you check our Discord server? Again, pinged you about something.
God damn it, again. But yeah, I mean
while Mill is outing himself completely,
I'm not outing myself that much. I mean, the point is that I can't say I've never bookmarked any explicit fics, but I've only bookmarked like 2 of them.
Oh, only 2. That's a great deal of restraint for someone who reads fanfic. Not gonna lie. What the hell is with all those tags? Jesus Christ.
It's a big
yeah,
series.
there is something of a tag bloat. Well, I call it tag bloat, but really it does make things easier when you're looking for something very specific.
It really does. I'd rather they over-tag than they under-tag.
That's a very
fair.
valid point, yeah.
It's just hilarious how, like, it is a wall of tags. Like, one of those fics has, like, a tag that covers up most of the screen.
To be
That's
fair,
funny.
these are both fics and series, which are like a series of smaller fics, so...
Ah, okay.
Like, I'm always of the opinion that when you're looking for something fandom, you know what I'm looking forward to?
What?
And this may be bad, because I know it's a very contentious issue. I am looking forward to when language-based AI programs get good enough to just outright write fanfiction on command for you. Exactly how you want it.
That will take decades.
Well, wrong. Apparently, because ChatGPT can already write very tropey genre fiction.
Yeah, that's very tropey, which is the problem.
Well, if what you're looking for is tropey, then then it isn't a problem.
I guess.
Because what if you're looking for something that is tropey, but a combination of tropes that no one's done before, or you can't find easily, right? Then, at that point, you need something like
fanfic bot.
Yes, and I am absolutely here for it. Here's the thing. I think being conquered by our AI overlords is inevitable. Or rather, not being conquered, but I do think it's inevitable to eventually just, hit a major, oh god, what have we done, what madness have we wrought moment.
Just
With
you know,
regard
just to interrupt you.
I'm fine with that. I just wish it started with the manual labor shit rather than the creative shit.
Well, no, because it's not really capable of true creativity. It can't really make anything meaningfully new, and that's probably that is going to take decades. To make something meaningfully new is going to take decades. That's why I said fan fiction and not stories, because you're not going to get original stories anytime soon.
No, definitely not. No matter how much Amazon wants to think otherwise.
Yeah.
Also,
but
fuck you,
fanfiction is viable just because there's so much to draw from, and because it is the parameters are defined. The thing about a really true creative story is parameters are undefined, right? You have to come up with everything from scratch. Obviously, you're going to steal from other places, but ultimately, the point of true creativity is how each individual interprets the information and tropes that they're given. And interpretation, that sort of meaningful interpretation, is just not something that AI is capable of. And will not be for a long, long time. But it is capable of very good mimicry, and that's the thing about fanfiction, is that it's because the parameters are defined, a lot of it is a game of mimicry. Mimicry and adaptation.
Okay, I'm going to just do a hard divergence because long time reminds me of the most recent episode of The Last of Us which was really fucking good.
Okay.
And it was called
yes,
Long Time.
Last of Us.
Just before we get started on that, can we just finish the AO3 thing so I can go back to the game?
Yes.
So,
yes,
Buzzy,
do
you mind Tododeku, or do you want something that's not? Because I can find either.
Just give me non-Tododeku for now. I think I need a little bit more experience before I go
there is
down
a
the Tododeku
fic
rabbit
that
hole.
I have. There is a fic that I have that is set before the final exams. That is basically Aizawa going, maybe I should investigate the relationship between Izuku and Bakugo first before I put them together and against All Might. And he goes through that.
Oh my god! Yeah, give me. How did you know, Mill? It's not like I make it completely obvious what I like.
There you go. Mystery of Midoriya Izuku by Hope Knight. Very, very good. Really love it. Read it quite recently as well.
You know what? I think I've figured out a way to properly articulate what my feelings on Tododeku are. Which is, it feels incomplete to me.
Oh.
As of now, or just in general?
Just in general. And what I mean by that is, it feels incomplete to me in the sense that it's not exclusive to Tododeku. Dekuraka also feels incomplete to me. What I'm trying to say is that I think I'm a hardcore OT3 chipper, and I feel that I just like making my life more difficult for myself.
Been there.
Look, I also love the OT3 of Dekuraka. Like, I was the one who turned you onto it.
Yes,
Oh
and
my.
that yes, of course. That definitely told me what I was craving and what I felt was missing.
And I do have a couple of actually pretty good ones. I mean, there's one where it's not really the focus, which I really love, where after the sports festival, Izuku basically goes, "All right, I can't let Endeavor's bullshit stand, so I'm gonna fuck him up," and he just writes this big essay, posts it, and then it just goes like viral and
absolutely viral, yeah.
and then brings
That honest, you know what? Do you think that would have like completely messed up a lot of the bad guys' plans?
Well, there is actually a moment where like Izuku is in like a convenience store and comes across Darby, who is like, "I should fuck you up right now, but you really messed with Endeavor, and I like that, so I'm gonna let you go." And then Izuku's like, "Wait a second, are you Todoroki's supposedly dead brother?" And then he gets his mum, who in this fic is a lawyer, to help Darby, and yeah.
See, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's
very
funny,
but also I feel like, look, I have always been of the opinion that, like, when you've got a traumatized character, that doesn't give them an excuse to turn into a, like, genocidal maniac.
Yeah. No, it's fair. Like, absolutely fair.
Mhm.
But yeah, the only reason it's tagged as Dekuraka is because, like, near the end, when it's like, no, it's not quite announced then, but basically Todoroki goes, "I think I want to marry you," and then Uraraka goes, "Oh, me too. Whose last name should we take?" And it's yeah, I
see, I that's funny, and I would love to read that. However, it's a bit like I'd like the Dekuraka to be a bit more.
Yeah, no, again, like, yeah, no, I understand. As I said, it is.
But yes, I will read the non Totodeku stuff for now. I think we can safely talk about The Last of Us.
So, The Last of Us has turned out to be extremely good. Shocker.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, it is actually something of a shocker. Because, like, it really could have gone either way.
You know what? That's fair.
It's a video game adaptation. It could have gone either way very easily.
We have had some good recent video game adaptations, but yes, you are correct.
I heard the Sonic movies were pretty good.
Sonic movies are pretty fun. Castlevania, the animated series, was also very good.
Castlevania almost doesn't count because there hasn't been a Castlevania game in, like, almost decades now, huh?
Maybe. But
Last
also
one
Arcane was also extremely good.
Okay, so, like, 3.
3, yeah. 3 definite examples. I can't think of any others off the top of my head. I think maybe the old Tomb Raider movie with Angelina Jolie is passable.
That was good for reasons completely unrelated to the video game.
Yes, because of Angelina Jolie.
And in general, just, like, kind of deciding to ham it up and, like, lean into the so good it's bad. Like, they realized there was no way it was going to be good, so they just didn't try.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, yeah, so Last of Us, what's been going on? Have they made major changes?
Well, the first major change, to my knowledge, is their decision to do a whole, like, a good 80% of the third episode is focused on the backstory of two characters who are basically extras in the game.
Yes, and I'm guessing Bill and his husband.
Bill and Frank, yeah.
Yes, Bill and his husband. Yes.
Yes. And they make a very beautiful, touching queer romance out of the whole thing, and it made me cry.
Did it have the same ending as the game?
I don't think it did, no.
Okay, that's good then. Because that would be all, like, because, like, that, in hindsight, look, Last of Us was not, it did not necessarily age well in all parts of it.
No. But no, what they did do is they got Nick Offerman to play Bill, which is just pitch-perfect casting.
Yes, did he play the detective in Psych?
No, that was a different guy.
What's he been in? I know him. I've seen him in
Offerman?
everything.
Nick Offerman was in Parks and Rec.
Right, that guy.
Mhm.
I knew he looked from. I couldn't tell. The beard was fine, but like I couldn't tell because he like was very Apocalypse Core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm used to seeing him in much more well dressed.
Yeah, he was very different in The Last of Us compared to Parks and Rec.
Obviously, but
that
like
different?
no, I just meant the outfit. Really, is what prevented me from making the connection.
Well, funny enough, the characters personality-wise aren't too different, honestly.
Yeah.
I guess I was gonna say they seem pretty similar from what I've seen. Of
Yeah, you got a libertarian and a survivalist.
Yeah, no, that. What's the difference?
Ah,
But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So yes, that seems like a great creative decision.
yeah, it was very much a very good creative decision.
You know what? I was worried that this was going to end up being some sort of stain on Pedro Pascal's career because I really like Pedro Pascal.
Same.
Pedro Pascal has just been very good.
Yes,
And-
he's just good in everything he's in. I'm so glad Mandalorian is getting a season 3 over like Boba Fett.
Yeah, Book of Boba Fett, I don't think we're getting more of that. Maybe. Maybe not.
Hopefully
I
for
don't
the
know.
best.
Yeah. Maybe Boba Fett will pop up in something else in a better show.
Definitely gonna pop up. He's like Boba Fett was the first truly popular meme character of the modern era. Because there is no reason for Boba Fett to have been as popular as he was.
Mm-hmm.
He literally showed up once and then died.
No, he was in Empire.
He showed up twice and then died. He
No,
showed
he
up
actually-
twice and got eaten by a Sarlacc, and then because he was so popular because of the toy sales, they decided to retcon him back to life and then made an entire series of spin-offs based on him.
Yeah, the old EU. I remember that.
Didn't they
Look, the
also
old EU
like
had some great stuff.
Didn't they also like make a make his, what was it, his father in the prequels?
Yes, his not so much his father as the guy that all of the stormtroopers were cloned from, who decided to raise one specific clone as a son
Right.
Yes.
because daddy issues, I guess. But yeah, basically that even took out like the part that was most relevant to Boba Fett's backstory in a way, because it took out it made it so that he's not actually a Mandalorian. He's a clone of a Mandalorian, which is significantly less impressive in the grand scheme of things.
To be fair, there was a lot of wanking off the Mandalorians way back in the old EU. Like, the
Yeah,
Mandalorians were,
much
like,
prefer
super-
their treatment in the Mandalorian
Uh-huh.
than what they ended up becoming in the E EU.
Like, the old EU absolutely had its positives, but there was some trash in there.
Again, it's like, given that the old EU was essentially licensed fan fiction, that should really be surprise no one whatsoever.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh, hello, dog. My dog has decided to grace me with her presence.
Hi, Biscuit.
Eat his pillow, Biscuit.
Biscuit, stop! Stop that. Okay. Good girl. Yeah.
The timing of that.
Look, there's a reason you are familiar with her habits. But yeah, I think it's quite a relief that Last of Us is ending up to be a good show.
Yeah. So far, it's very good. I have no idea how well it's gonna keep going from here. It could go. It could keep going strong, or it could just wind up shitting the bed. But I hope it keeps going strong, personally.
We'll hope for the best at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still want to talk about AI if you guys are willing.
I guess.
The movie AI, Artificial Intelligence. I don't think that's a really good movie, honestly.
Okay, it's not, but like also, that the ending of that movie just like made no sense to me.
Yeah, that movie was just overall very weird.
You're telling me that these super hyper intelligent things that have apparently evolved to the point of altruism and compassion, because that, believe me, is a major evolutionary step. These things have evolved to the point of altruism and compassion and have not figured out how to bring people back to life for more than a day. It doesn't make sense. Like, why does bringing people back to life give them a day to live? Like, what is the mechanics of that? Biologically speaking, that makes no sense to me.
After a day, God gets pissed and brings you back.
That's like the only possibly viable explanation.
Or Satan gets pissed and brings you back. Either way, you get brought back.
But yeah, like, why are you so hesitant to even talk about the AI-generated fanfiction, Jack? I do think it's a different beast.
I just don't like the current trend of AIs being used to subsume creative industry. You know, even something as simple as fanfic.
Okay, so we all know that I'm kind of one of the more cynical and fatalistic members of our little ensemble.
What?
Yes.
No, Fuzzy, you're not.
Very funny. No, I've actually found that it helps me in this situation because here's the thing. As long as there is a viable reason to keep doing the AI stuff, people are going to keep doing the AI stuff. So I'm like, we might as well enjoy it before it goes completely to hell. Because it's not in a place where it's gone completely to hell yet.
Is
And
it not?
No, there's still a lot of room. There's like a long way down, Mel. There's like no end of the depths to which we can sink. But like, let me give you an example. A lot of people are creative and are like decent writers, but they can't draw for shit.
Yeah, I'm one of those
If that
people.
person, yes. So like, if you ever want to do something like a comic book or any sort of visual art, you're basically screwed unless you were just able to source your art from AI. That's also very awkward.
Or I could, find somebody to draw for me. Somebody who's not good at writing.
Yeah, but what if you're poor? And also, Mill, I think you're underestimating how difficult that is. It might actually be faster to write an AI from scratch than to find someone who can collaborate on an artistic project. Look, all I'm saying is enjoy it while it's still not egregious, because believe me, it is not nearly egregious yet.
I'll still keep, campaigning against it.
I don't like.
Well, campaigning against it to the extent that I campaign against anything, which is mostly.
Well, yes, but
mostly
also
just
like.
argue in the one actually public Discord server that we're in.
So, here's the question. This is a much more iffy legal gray area. But where does the creative spectrum fall on a... So it's been ruled that entirely AI generated works do not gain copyright protection. Right? I believe that was a ruling that happened. Guys?
Yeah. Go on.
But what if it's like a comic book that is written by a human being with its own original plot and like writing, but the art is AI generated? Where does that fall, legally speaking?
Not sure, to be honest.
Jack, are you still there? Or
I'm
have you
back.
like...
Sorry, I just had to step out for a sec.
But yeah, we were talking about how we've established that fully AI generated works do not get copyright protection. But what if it's a comic book where it's written by a human being with an original plot, but it's the art is provided by an AI? Where do you think that should fall, legally speaking?
Unfortunately, it's still that art still falls in the acid of the uncanny valley at this point.
Well, yeah, but I mean, legally speaking.
Oh, legally speaking, I mean, it should still be the providence of their creator, but a lot of the AI art is trained on stolen artwork, which is the issue.
That is the biggest issue, yes, and it's like there's no real way to avoid.
Well, there is a way to avoid that. It's to train the AI on art that was bought and commissioned, or to train it on publicly available works that.
It's one of those things where that is viable, but also the sheer bulk required to train an AI means
that... how much artwork there is in the public domain? There's a lot.
Yes, but that does bring up the issue of, well, then the styles are going to be very specific, right? There's not as much variety in the public domain.
Yeah, but that's still not like a bad solution. And saying like, oh, we can train the AIs on art that isn't in the public domain, but just like, it's this person puts it out there, therefore we don't need to credit them and or pay them for using their art to train our AIs.
No, I absolutely agree that that's just predatory and not okay.
Yes, exactly.
But like, it's one of those things where I'm just like, there really needs to be some sort of middle ground there, because only training it on public domain just is both. It just like it's not as the quality is just not there that you can get otherwise. But like entirely training it on stolen artwork is also just not okay by any metric. So I'm like, that's one of those scenarios where I'm just not sure what the compromise is.
The people training the AIs could just, commission artwork from artists and pay for it, and use that art to train the AIs instead of just stealing it.
It becomes a bulk issue at that point.
Well, not necessarily. Just get a couple dozen artists and commission them to put out their give you their best artwork.
I would also question the
literally
amount
hundreds of thousands of pieces of works of art to train an AI.
I would also question the amount of artists that will want to actually, make works just so people can use them to train AIs.
Yeah,
No,
that's
that's
also
fair.
an issue. Right? Because it's like, but yeah, I'm pretty sure like aren't the numbers required insane?
I don't know. What I do know is that the current method that is being used is not acceptable.
It's not, and there's like,
The current method is just like what they're going with, and it's not okay and should be illegal if it isn't already. I'm pretty sure it qualifies as theft. Legally speaking.
It does, but like, you know how it works. As long as the people funding the AI are rich enough, that doesn't matter. But yeah, another thing I was gonna say is that is at least one place where language programs are slightly better.
Oh, how so?
Well, even if they're trained on stolen art, on stolen content, at least they don't reproduce it or like use it. It's like the things that they're trained on are not like. It's difficult to articulate, but whereas the stolen artwork is visibly, you can definitely see the traces of the art it was stolen from. A sentence is a sentence, right?
Yeah,
It's much more ambiguous where that sentence came from.
that is true.
There's also a lot more written works in the public domain than there is artwork, and the variety is much bigger as well. So it's like, but yeah, as far as language AI programs they're less focused on reproduction and more focused on restructuring, because at its core, it is learning the language.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like, language, unlike art, is much more easy to restructure in a non-illegal manner in that regard, I guess. I could be completely wrong, though. I'm just, like, spitballing.
I would also question, Fuzzy, the aspect of writing is already a hard enough industry to get into to begin with, and you want to hand the work off to AIs, or think that...
Oh no, I am absolutely not saying that creative writing should be taken over by AIs. I am, however, saying, what if, like, fanfiction was taken over by AIs?
I still wouldn't.
You're going
like
to get
that.
a lot of pushback regardless.
Yeah, I still would not like that at all. Like,
I just don't think it's worth it.
Look, is it... I understand, I just, like... Sometimes I just want to read a very specific story, and no one has written that story, and, like, I want a way to read it. Like, honestly, my dream, like, if I had a genie, one of my genie wishes would absolutely be access to some sort of hyper-intelligent, multiversal search engine in which I can just look up things that I really want to exist, but they don't exist in our universe, but they might exist in another universe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
sort of.
Like, what if there's just a very, very... Or, okay, how about this? Imagine there's a story that just Oh, okay, worst case scenario. There's a story you really liked, and then the author died. What if you could just, like, look into a different universe where the author didn't die and finish the story?
That'd be neat. So that
That's
is kind of a
the thing
monkey's
I'm
paw
talking
thing,
about.
because that's kind of a monkey's paw thing, because in some cases the author dying didn't always the story that sometimes the words. Not all stories would have been completed in the optimal way by the author who died, you know?
Well, no, but then if why limit yourself to if the author died? What if the author just like shit the bed and did it badly? What if you just like looked for a universe where that didn't happen and it was completed in the optimal way? Right? That is the sort of thing that if I had a wish, I would probably blow a wish on that. Like that's the sort of thing you'd look for the Dragon Balls for, in my opinion. Like,
I
can we talk
understand.
about
I
the fact?
understand your frustration, Fuzzy, but like,
I can't really agree with you on this issue.
yeah.
Can we just talk about the fact that like the magical wish-granting dragon is completely wasted on the dumbasses that make up the cast of Dragon Ball?
100%.
Oh, absolutely.
That we can at least all agree on, I think. Like,
If you had a way to track down the Dragon Balls and use them on an annual basis, I can guarantee it that I would be using it for something more productive than skincare checkups.
Or occasionally wishing my idiot friends back.
Yes.
honestly, the optimal thing I feel for them would be to just, like, at one point wish for the ability to bring the dead back to life. Because there's people who can do that in the universe. So, like, what if you just, like, became one of those guys? And, like, just remove the middleman. Because God knows they, like, have people die on them often enough that they need it.
True. I do.
Let's give that ability to Chi-Chi. Right? She could actually, like, do something at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Though she would absolutely use it for blackmail, wouldn't she?
Probably. Wouldn't put it past her, that's for sure.
On the subject of characters that were horribly wasted by their authors, y'all have any ideas for any other ones off the top of your head?
Oh, I thought you were going to say against something.
Well, no, but I'm just like, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there's lots of examples I'm sure y'all can think of as well.
Literally 80% of the cast of Naruto.
Ugh. We laugh so we don't cry.
Yep. Yep. Honestly, you could bump that up to 90% if you're feeling particularly spiteful.
Not an unfair assessment.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna do the roast of Naruto today, obviously, but like,
Oh.
the series had so much potential.
It really did, and then it just evolved into a handful of gods just blowing up mountains while everyone else gawks.
That really is the summation of the series, isn't it? It's like not even
Not the end of the series, but yeah.
And you know what the weirdest part of that series is to me? It's like, just beyond the very obvious parts, I think the weirdest part is just how inconsistent the power scaling was. Not even the power scaling in and of itself. It's just that there was never really a reason given for why some people were stronger or weaker. Right? There was like, I've figured out a way of quantifying the shonen escalation problem. Or rather,
Oh?
I've figured out one of the primary limiting factors of the shonen escalation problem. Is that it's progression fantasy without a properly defined progression system. And I'm not talking about, like, BS power levels.
Hmm.
Right? It's like... It is a system that needs, like, a concrete system of progression. Most shonen. And they don't have that. And the lack of a concrete system of progression actually hurts it quite a bit.
I think One Piece does do it fairly well with, having the advanced applications of hockey and stuff. Other than that, there's not really a lot of concrete stuff in most shonens.
Yeah, and I feel like most shonen... Well, here's the thing. Good writing removes the need for a concrete system.
Mm-hmm.
See One Piece.
Yes.
The thing is, if you don't have good writing, or if the writing is not as good, you can make up for it with concrete systems. For example, I love Cradle. Love it. Will White's not as good a writer as Oda. I don't think even he would disagree with that assessment.
Honestly, most writers are not as good as Oda.
Yes. Honestly, I don't think most writers would want to be as good as Oda, considering what the consequences of being as good as Oda are.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that if you are not as good a writer as Oda, then a concrete system helps in a battle shonen. Now, there is a downside to this. The downside is that there's an increasing number of authors who have decided to completely abandon writing in favor of a system, and that's how you get lit RPG authors.
Yep. Sounds about right.
That might be unfair, because there are lit RPG writers who are good writers, but it still remains that lit RPGs are at their core something of a crutch.
Well, yeah. They're reliant on the structure of, oh, hey, this is an RPG thing that I am making literature out of.
Well, yes, but they're like, by assigning a hard number to things. Lit RPGs, do you know what lit RPGs are? They are the natural... I don't even want to call it natural, but they are the logical progression. The logical extreme of telling and not showing.
Sounds about right.
Instead of showing how your characters are stronger qualitatively and how they interact with the world, haha, numbers go up, brr.
Yep.
It's just like, there's a reason video games use it, because it's like a good way of basically you're sacrificing quality for quantity in a literal scientific sense. You are sacrificing the qualitative experience of literature with the quantitative experience of hard numbers.
Mm-hmm. What are the only numbers that have any place in the magic system are numbers used to calculate how to use trajectories and shit for spells. Numbers to indicate how.
Yeah. Like, if the numbers are like In
let me
universe.
finish. Let me finish. Numbers used to calculate the rough approximation of how much energy you have left to pull your bullshit out of, like, a proportion-wise speaking. Like, oh, I have like half of my power left. I can only use so much stuff now. And of course, the number of spells or spells and such you've used in an encounter. That if you need to keep track of that shit, like in D&D with spell slots and shit.
I mean, I'd go even one step further and be like, well, there's some magic systems that just incorporate math, right? Like, you have to do
True.
math to be able to use the magic system. That's totally fine. That's not what lit RPGs are, sadly.
No, it's like, oh, I
Is-
inflicted X points of damage on you with my skill that allows me, that is at level blank because I did X amount of experience points.
I leveled up and was able to put 20 points in strength, thereby completely removing any need to qualitatively show how strong I am and how much stronger I've gotten.
Yep.
Right? It is the... And, like, the worst part, really, is that apparently people are into that. Like, I have on r/progression fantasy, I love the concept of progression fantasy, but the sad part is, on r/progression fantasy, there's a vocal majority, if a vocal minority, if not a vocal majority of people who actively complain when a work of progression fantasy is not a lit RPG.
That's a them problem.
Yeah, but, like, when they are the ones who are funding a lot of these authors, right? By either on Patreon or by paying for the books or what have you. When these are the audiences that the author has to cater to. That's when it becomes a problem.
I mean, I'm planning on writing something that's progression fantasy style, and I'm not catering to that bullshit because that is not the kind of thing I want to write.
I know, but for a lot of authors, and I found that this is increasingly becoming the case in the web novel space, it has very much become more of a business than a craft. And I'm not necessarily blaming them. Like, writers gotta eat, right? You gotta, like, put food on the table somehow. But a lot of the insider discussions by authors it sounds like the discussions at a board meeting at a marketing company.
Oh, that's awful.
Like, they've broken it down and they've broken writing down into cold hard capitalism.
Capitalism is evil and should be destroyed.
We've established that, but, like, yeah, that's kind of where the web novel, the Western web novel and indie publishing scene is right now. It's mostly it's devolved into capitalism because that's the only way authors can actually support themselves, is by being as cynical and calculating as possible. It's sad, but it's one of the tragic realities of existence.
Maybe I should break reality. That would be fun.
If it was that easy, it would have been done a long time ago, sadly.
Well, Superboy Prime tried it. It didn't go well, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's the other problem, is if reality was easy to break, then, like, there's probably a lot more Superboy Primes than mainstream Supermans out there.
Sadly.
On the subject of DC, can I just say, I'm not the type to gush over wikis, because why would you? But I will say, on the DC Universe wiki for the mainstream universe, Superman and Batman, it just chose the best possible quotes for their pages. Because each of them because Superman's page quote is Batman being a Superman fanboy in the most touching way possible, and Batman's page quote is vice versa.
That is absolutely sweet.
It's adorable and also very fitting. Because, like, in universe, they are each other's bestest friends. And it's adorable.
Yep.
You know, when they're not trying to kill each other.
I mean, Soups knows how to finish that fight, and it's just by saying Martha. Which immediately sends
I mean,
sends
it
Batsy
says
The
bumming.
movie has just irreparably fucked up the whole discourse around Batman and Superman.
You know what's funny? Is that... What's even funnier about that is the fact that people acknowledge that the only way for Superman to reasonably win against Batman is to say Martha.
I mean, I'm
Like, people have just accepted at this point, yeah, no, turns out, like,
I really don't agree there. I really don't. Maybe if we're talking specifically about Snyder's insane version of Batman, maybe, but the overall version of Batman, no.
I'm also
I don't agree with that.
I'm also just imagining like a fucking criminal just like, oh shit, it's the Batman. How do I get out of this? Hey, my mom's name is Martha as well.
Yeah, no, it just raises all sorts of questions. Like, the gist of it is interesting, because, like, Superman saying something along the lines of, please don't kill me, I need to save my mom, would probably spark a similar reaction to, in Batman, like, oh god, he has a...
He has a
No,
mom?
like
I
me,
had a mom!
For real. You have a mom? I have a mom. I had a mom.
This is where I watched my
Yes.
parents die, Parappa.
I watched my parents die here, Raphael. How a bummer, dude.
The fact that that's somewhat canon is just one of the most glorious parts of any.
Comic books are fucking old.
But yeah, I do. But wait, do you disagree that?
I disagree that that Superman would need to say Martha to beat Batman, and B that it would
Honestly,
work every single iteration of Batman.
Well, obviously, there's a lot of ways Superman.
It would work every single time they fight. Like, every time Superman looks like he's about to lose, he just pulls the Martha card. Just Batman can't help himself.
That said, you do have to admit that in any sort of well-written Batman v Superman story does involve Batman winning.
Yeah, for the most part.
Also, it's kind of, I love that are you guys aware of what the most recent rash of MC Universe stuff is? Or the DC Universe stuff is, like, canonically?
No, what?
They've kind of, like, they did another Crisis.
Boy, oh boy.
But no, the crises are, with the exception of New 52 and Flashpoint, the crises have generally been good because it's editorial housekeeping.
Well, except for Identity Crisis. Identity Crisis is also bad. And Heroes in Crisis is also bad.
Yes, but, like, those were New 52 adjacent enough that you can just bundle them into the trash fire that was the New 52.
No, Identity Crisis was before Infinite Crisis.
Wait, which one was that?
Identity Crisis. It's the one where, with Dr. Light being revealed to be a rapist.
Wait, does that count as a crisis?
It was considered a crisis for whatever fucking reason.
Yeah, I don't think that counts in the modern definition of crisis, right?
Probably not, but for whatever reason, it still counted.
But yeah, I'm kind of just like, the new Crisis was good, is what I'm trying to say.
What was the crisis called?
I think Dark Crisis.
How
Or
very
something.
descriptive.
Yeah, no, but do you know what it had, what it involved?
No, please elaborate.
The frickin' fingernail.
What?
The fingernail. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, explain. Please.
So, in the 80s, there was a big sort of Justice League Dark adjacent thing that involved this massive black shell that was causing untold horrors and evils to spread across the land, and also was some sort of eldritch abomination, and it turned out to be the fingernail of the Great Darkness, which was the antithesis to the Presence, which is the DC Universe god, like the capital G creator of everything, Abrahamic god. So what ended up happening in that is that it caused a massive hullabaloo until Swamp Thing and John Constantine got involved. And then basically there was this thing where basically the darkness was the anti-god, sort of, from the beginning of the universe. I was just like, hey, I'm feeling left out. Can we be friends? And then the Presence was like, okay, let's be friends. And then they touched tips and became friends.
Aww.
And then that got resolved. However, what they ended up happening is that one dude who is an obscure crazy person villain, psychic villain, ended up getting into contact with a portion of the darkness that was separated and kind of corrupted it with his own sheer insanity. And so it ended up causing all sorts of horrific eldritch abomination ultra evils. They also introduced a new tier of god beings. They introduced their own celestials. And the big bad was a rebel rogue celestial. So those things were created by the Source. You know what the Source is, right? In DC
I
context.
vaguely recall the Source, yes.
It's like the active part of God that does stuff in the universe. It's the thing that Lex Luthor went to meet in the series finale of Justice League Unlimited. Past the Source wall, big old wall of corpses that somehow made it into a children's cartoon.
Yep.
Yeah, so apparently it created a bunch of celestial god beings to manage the multiverse, and is like, well, I'm gonna let multiverses live and die because that's the natural order of things, because of course it is. And then the creator of the DC multiverse went rogue and decided, I'm gonna do my own thing. And then the Source was like, hey, bro, that's not cool. So I'm gonna murder you all. And then Wonder Woman was like, okay, well, can you not? And the Source was like, yeah, okay, sure, because I like you.
Who doesn't like Wonder Woman?
Well, there's a lot of variations of Wonder Woman that are not particularly likable.
No, that's fair. I meant regular Wonder Woman, who's actually a cool character, though.
Yes, Wonder Woman, when she's a cool character, is great. The problem is that far too often Wonder Woman kind of ends up being a character that she's probably in the top 3 characters who, in an alternate universe, is an evil dictator.
Right after Superman and Aquaman?
Superman and Batman. Yeah, no, there's a lot of universes where Batman goes a bit crazy. I mean, The Dark Knights. That was an entire thing.
Oh God. I didn't
Yeah,
even read those ones, but I've seen some panels here and there.
look,
It's fucking wild.
it's wild, but also it did end with Batman riding to victory on a Joker dragon.
Comics are fucking wild.
So yeah, it's yeah, DC had a decent crisis, is what I'm trying to say. Also, they resolved Dr. Manhattan in possibly the only reasonable way they could resolve Dr. Manhattan.
How'd they do it?
By the sheer good boyness of Superman.
Noise.
Basically, Superman was such a good bean that Dr. Manhattan was like, oh no, I'm a bad boy. And then, therefore, he adopted a child, gave it all his powers, and then died. Also named it the child Clark, by the way.
Aw.
So yes, Dr. Manhattan got a redemption arc that was not awful, at least from an emotional catharsis point of view.
Hmm.
It's solely off the basis of Superman being a good boy. I feel like Mill is dying.
No, I just remembered this game has a flamethrower.
Why? Does it have a flamethrower?
Why not?
So you can burn things, obviously. So, I was also just, like... Because my, like, where I'm, like... My home base, I guess, is basically just a garage and then I have a bunker I can go into. I have a full shower and toilet in here as well.
Hmm. Neat.
Mill, have you become the survivalist libertarian at this point?
No, it's just that I spend enough time, you know, renovating other people's houses. Really can't be asked to do my own.
That's fair, honestly. Much more so than...
I did give myself
has
a
that
cool
right.
sci-fi door, though.
But yeah, I feel like we should probably call it a day soon.
We're almost at 2 hours,
yeah.
so whatever Mill wants to call it.
I just want to do this last bit, but I'm trying to find, like... Trying to find the right tiling to match the rest of my walls. This new wall that I've built. See the
Are you sure you're not a libertarian survivalist with how you're talking about building walls and stuff? Look,
look!
There's a little...
Building the door would have made there would have been no point in building the door if there was just a gap here where you could walk onto the stairs. No point whatsoever.
You know what? Fair.
As I said, I either get it right and only have to do that chunk of wall, or I get it wrong and I have to do every other bit of wall.
Okay, I can understand that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess just finish that up and then we can do the thing.
Also, my character is Santa, so...
Ho, ho, ho.
Bitch.
Ho, ho, holy shit!
Yeah, but yeah,
my sledgehammer is a fucking candy cane.
Nice.
Like, why wouldn't it be?
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that said, I do think I'm gonna have to head out.
Alright, we can end it. I'll do it on my own time, I guess.
Look, I'm sorry, Mel, but like there are certain responsibilities that we all have in life. And sometimes those responsibilities get in the way of candy cane wall building. Can you build a wall out of candy cane?
Candy cane walls.
Probably not. I mean, I might be able to make it look like candy cane, but yeah.
Oh well.
No, it's definitely not that. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed us just shooting the shit and turning into an AO3 how-to at one point. In terms of future stuff, tomorrow we should still be doing the second part of our Husbando tier list. We have also gone through and already taken out the ones that we don't recognize, so we should have.
And are like illegal.
Yeah, there were only a couple of them left, I think, actually, so wasn't too bad.
That's fair.
But so yeah, so we've just got the ones we're actually going to be discussing. So should be good there. Tuesday and Thursday we'll probably be doing. Well, it'll depend on who's available, but we might be doing something like this, or we might just be, just doing some regular gaming. We'll see. And then next Saturday, because it is as close to Valentine's Day, actually, it would depend on availability, but Tuesday is Valentine's Day, isn't it? Next Tuesday after next.
God. Yeah, you're right.
We could do a special Tuesday edition of the Paradox Hour to do what we're thinking of.
Maybe we'll have to see about that.
We'll have to see about availability. So stay tuned for that. We have a Paradox Hour episode that we've been looking forward to doing, but obviously we'll have to see about certain people's availability who want to be on. Otherwise, again, thank you everybody for watching. Please do give us a follow here on Twitch and on Twitter at Storytime_net. And otherwise, we hope to see you tomorrow for more Husbando rankings. Good night.
Later.
Okay. Bye.